Hey guys, what's up? It's Faffer, and today we'll be talking about map control. The reason why I'm making this video is because I feel like map control is a very important concept in Overwatch, and it's not fully understood by the entirety of the Overwatch community, so that is my goal. So first off, what is map control? I define map control as a team's current usable map space compared to the opposing team's amount of current usable map space. And when looking at this definition, it's very important to look at the word usable, right? Because we can control parts of the map, but if they're not usable and if they're not providing us any value, it doesn't matter, right? So in my opinion, Overwatch, map control is the name of the game. In my experience, the team with map control wins 99% of the time. And the 1% is just due to mistakes, unlucky occurrences, or rare mechanical pop-off. Now, these stats aren't actually real. It's just a way of me saying how important map control is in Overwatch. Okay, so what makes map control so important? Map control provides us with what I believe is three very important things. One of it being information. It's information. It provides us with the ability to be aware and scout what the enemy team is doing, which is very important, so we can react accordingly and set up for a proper fight or a proper engagement. Two, it provides us with options, right? If we have map control, we can dictate where we want to take the fight, how we want to take the fight, and it gives us options about how we want to set up and really what we want to do, right, based on this information, of course, right? And three, these options also provide us with angles, right? So map control gives us angles, right? And angles, or provides us with multiple angles of pressure while denying enemies angles, right? So when we take angles, what happens is we're able to force resources more effectively, right? So for example, say we have a Reinhardt like this, right? He's shielding, right? And we're all stacked shooting this one shield, right? We're only going to be shooting his shield, right? And to make it more effective, how can we make him burn more resources while he's in the open using his shield, is we have an angle here, right? So now not only is the shield being burnt, right, but he's also losing HP, or we're shooting the squishies that are hiding behind the shield, right? Because we've set up these two angles, right? And it is very important to note that all three of these things, when we have map control, we don't only give it to ourselves, but we deny the enemy team as well. We deny these things from the enemy team. We deny them information, right? We deny them options because depending on how we set up, we can force them to take a route, right? And we also deny them angles, right? Okay, so next we'll look at the types of map control. There's two types of map control, and those two types are direct map control, which is physically being in the space. So this space is mine because I'm physically here, right? Or being able to directly pressure that space when someone enters it. For example, if you have an Ashe, right? An Ashe is set up here, right? She's overlooking this space, right? If you step, maybe black's not the best color to use. If you step into this space, what will happen is this Ashe can directly pressure you by pressing left click, right? So that's what direct map control is. Physically being in the space and being able to directly pressure that space. The second kind of map control is indirect. So indirect. Indirect map control is the threat of being punished for being in a space, right? And what I mean by this is, take an example like Winston. Say this is a ledge. Winston's at the top. And we don't want to make a rotation through this space where Winston has the threat of just dropping on us, right? Or rotate through any space where Winston has the threat of jumping on us, right? Okay, so this is like the basics of map control. You know, why is map control so good, and what kinds of map control are there? Next, we'll look at some examples, some Overwatch League examples of how they use map control. And you know, it's important to note that map control applies to all compositions and maps. The only thing that changes is the scale. And what I mean by that is if we're spam, right? You know, we set 2 people here, 2 people here, 2 people here. We control all this map, right? All this space here, right? But on Brawl, the scale is going to change. Now we have, say, 4 people here, 1 here, and 1 here, right? Now we control this space as opposed to all the space that the spam control, right? Yeah. So let's look at some examples. First, we'll look at Brawl. Example from Shock versus Philadelphia Fusion. And this is a note that this is a Brawl dive hybrid. And in this example, we'll see how Shock take map control. So in this example, we see direct map control right now. So we see direct map control of this Sombra taking the same angle, Reaper taking this angle, and these people being in here, right? Direct map control provides them with the information, knowing that no one's here, right? And you know, we can all see them stacked here, right? It then also provides them with options, right? If they want, they can all stuff into dojo. If they want, they can all go here. If they want, they can take a front end engagement and just roll shock with these angles, right? And then, you know, they also have angles. So now they're pressuring here, forcing this diva to make an option of like, hey, do I want to DM the Sombra? Do I want to DM the Reaper? Do I want to DM these guys? As well as giving the Warrior the option, do I want to right click this? Do I want to right click core? You know, what do I want to do? You know, Lucio, do I shoot these guys? Do I shoot Sombra? You know, they're faced with these options of what they want to do, or well, they're faced with a dilemma because of the angle, right? Well, these guys aren't, because you know, now what our diva can do is just DM forward, right? Because all the damage is coming forward, right? So our Fusion's diva can just DM forward. Make sense? Cool. Watch it play through, right? And knowing this, what they can do is they actually take a front end engagement, and with these angles, they're trying to abuse the fact that they have angles, so they go in hard, right? You know, also enabling us to get a hack off the Sombra angle as well onto the diva, who's a very, very good hack target. Next, we shall look at dive. This is Titans dive. Nope, that's the image of it. This is Vancouver Titans versus Gladiators, and we'll look at how they use indirect map control to take space. Take map control, right? They use indirect map control to take map. This is probably one of my favorite plays I've seen in Overwatch League. I really, really like this. Super cool. Okay, so we'll stop it there. And then we'll pull up an image because we only had the Overwatch League, and we'll look here, right? So what happens is they TP everyone up top, right? So then Reaper, Ana can get set up here, and then they can actually speed boost, jump their Winston over top here and get everyone set up here, right? And by doing so, what they do is they create angles, right? And, you know, Gladiators being on the brawlier comp that they're on, they know they can't play in this space because they'll just face with angles, right? Winston can just drop on them and then reset. Well, you know, Winston drops, attention split, now Ana slips in a nade and Reaper's coming in, right? They know they can't sustain that, so they try to minimize angles by going over here, right? And what happens is they actually lose map, right? So now Ana can get set up and she throws the nade here on the engagement, right? Reaper gets set up, he TPs here, and now they're engaging from multiple angles, right? And, you know, they also had options, right? They could have played this slower. They could have set up their Reaper this way, so then he still has his fade ability, or his shadow step ability. But yeah, that's an example of indirect map control and how, map control is used in Dive. Next, we'll look at spam, which is going to be Paris Eternal versus Atlanta Rain. And, this is more direct map control. Like, you step into a space, Orisa is going to directly pressure you, right? Same with Sig, same with Bap, right? Same with Junkrat, stuff like that. Free, right? So you can see that right off the bat, Paris tried to take map control by taking these two angles, right? But because of just the front end pressure that Rain has, they can just kind of overpower, just kind of walk through, right? And punish these off angles, right? And then what they do is they take these angles. Now they've taken map control, right? And you see that Fielder and Xe, they realize like, hey, we lost map control, like we're down, right? And they tried to reclaim map control by swinging wide and taking an angle to punish this space, make this space no longer usable for Rain, right? Or maybe get a pick, right? So then they force them out, right? And yeah, with that front end pressure. And then what we'll see here is how Paris Eternal retake using like the concept of map control, right? What you'll see is them come over here and then develop two angles, right, to pressure these guys who are now stacked, because they've given up a lot of the map control, right? Because now they're going to be taking pressure from two angles. And you see how much space Paris Eternal is able to claim by doing so, right? And then you see Atlanta Rain try to wrap around to reclaim this map control, make this space now theirs, right? But it's not enough because of how much Paris Eternal were able to do with the map control they've taken, right? So there are the examples, right? So we looked at map control, its importance, its benefits, the different types, and how it's applied. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and please do not hesitate to ask questions, provide feedback, and share your own thoughts. Just like you guys, I'm here and I'm looking to get better at my own practice, and I can't do so without input. Below, if you guys want to reach out to me or find out more about me, I'll provide my Discord tag, my socials, my Discord server, and my Twitch channel. And if you guys are looking for more educational content, I've linked Thor's, Natter's, and Careless's YouTube channels below. Three extremely smart coaches who I've learned a lot from in the past and still learn from. I hope you guys have a great day and keep up the grind. Thanks.